Welcome back to What You Missed Gaming, the video game news show that knows it's dangerous to go alone and uninformed on the internet. So here, take this video game news with you and stay informed, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to What You Missed News, the only news show on the internet where your host has a Metroid sitting on his table, which segues into some Nintendo Switch news. So Nintendo has announced that they're going to be doing the Nindies showcase. Now, I have to say that I'm not a big indie game guy. There's very few indie games that I would even consider to be decent games, like Rogue's Legacy, Spelunky, Undertale. These are great games, but among the great games out there, there are probably 1,000 that are just absolutely terrible. You go on Steam, man, and it's like Atari before the quality control came in with Nintendo. You literally have games that could be based off of dog food. That's no joke. If you missed my Why It Matters, the video game crash of 1983, yes, there is a literal Atari game about dog food. And there are porn games on the Atari 2600. The Atari 2600, yes. But my argument being that a lot of the Nintendo Switch indie games are very mediocre at best. I'm not saying they're bad by any means, or they're very, very old, like Cave Story. So for me personally, I'm not really interested in Switch indie titles, much less Xbox One or PS4 ones. If I want indie titles, I'll get them on PC. If they're good enough to be officially licensed on Nintendo, then maybe I'll consider picking them up, but that's just how I feel. There is a Nintendo Switch built-in voice chat available in Splatoon 2, but if you see this story, don't get clickbaited because it's only for local area network play. Yeah, so, I guess it's not that good either, because it's like as clear as talking underwater as this article goes, but I dislike that this article hid that it was for LAN play, so when you saw the title, it just said for Splatoon 2 instead of LAN play. I'm not going to go over this much more, but the fact of the matter is that if it sounds this bad in LAN play, then the built-in functionality for an online type of thing probably isn't that good, which is why they have the weird setup that they have going on anyways. PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Battlegrounds temporarily beats Dota 2 as the most played game on Steam. This is an interesting type of game. It is based on survival, one of those games that are like a third-person shooter where you get dropped into a combat zone of some kind. A lot of games previously released to this usually were like around the zombie premise or an end of the world scenario, and you had what you had on your back and you got dropped off in the countryside or in a city or in a town, and you had to find stuff on the ground to survive, and based on that you were able to survive the longest. It was to make you the last man standing. That's how you basically won the game. These games go on for a very long time, and apparently this one seems to be taking the mantle of one of the most played games on Steam. So my hat's off to PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Battlegrounds. Good job, guys, on making a game that a lot of people would like to play. Sony unveils a new, cheaper PSVR bundle with the PlayStation Camera. According to the PlayStation blog, the bundle will only be available across the US and Canada, and it will be priced at $400 US and $500 Canadian, or $499 CAD. And that basically means that you're going to be getting the camera built in, and it's going to be a cheaper price. So a lot of people are very excited for this because the camera is required to use the VR headset and largely had been sold separately outside of retailer-specific bundles. So this is a big thing, and I think they should have done that right off the bat. And now that PlayStation VR is kind of stagnant, they're lowering the price to try and catch a lot more people. I don't think VR is going to catch on. I do not think it's here to stay, and I'm very sorry for anyone who actually paid a good amount of money for this, because it seems just like the Kinect. If you bought the VR and you think it's really amazing and great and everyone should have it, please leave me a comment in the section below detailing why and what games people should really be playing for it. Gearbox CEO, quote, "I don't know that we could or should make Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Now, this was him speaking. Obviously, recently this week, we had quite a few stories detailing Half-Life. Another big thing about how Half-Life 3 might have been made, and there was potentially a script and opening to the game itself, but whatever. If you guys didn't know, Gearbox has worked on a number of games, some of which are very, very bad, and some of which are very, very good. From Alien Colonial Marines to Duke Nukem Forever to Borderlands to Battleborn. It's been a real roller coaster ride for Gearbox, but they did also work on Half-Life, believe it or not. Yeah, so the PS2 version of Half-Life, and of course the expansion packs Opposing Force and Blue Shift as well. I'm really sick and tired of the Half-Life 2 crap. The memes are old and stale. Half-Life 2 Episode 3 3 or Half-Life 3, make the game. Stop talking about, oh, I don't know if we could make, look man, Duke Nukem Forever was terrible. Learn from why it was a bad game and don't make the same mistakes. Just being afraid to make the game isn't going to make the game better or worse. But saying that you're not sure if you should make it or not, there is a clear demand for Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Everybody wants it out there. But the memes, the news coverage on it, it's so stale that no one even believes it whenever there's a scrap or a shred of news anymore. They think it's some kind of joke. So if you want to make the game, but stop dicking around talking about, oh, I don't know if we should. I don't know if we should. Well, I don't know if I want a game to print money or not. Even if it was a poorly made game like Duke Nukem Forever, just because it has the name Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, it would literally print money. So Microsoft reportedly stopped selling the original Xbox One. As the company states, as typical for the console industry, we've stopped manufacturing the original Xbox One when we introduced the Xbox One S. This is 100% official. Now, one of the biggest reasons to pick up an original Xbox One is that it still has the Kinect port. So if you're interested in playing Kinect games, I know there's a lot of people out there who won't want that. I get that. Look, I'm not saying that the Kinect is good. I'm not even saying it's better than VR because it's not. But there are gamers out there who like to experience all kinds of games. So if you've never played the Kinect and you wanted a Kinect, or you have one and you don't want to lose that feature or that support, then the Xbox One S has a lack of that Kinect port. So that's the only reason you would probably want an original Xbox One, besides the paint job and the color. Mine's completely black, which matches my decor. I haven't found an Xbox One S that's completely black. There are kits that you can put on, skins, etc., but there you go. So it seems that Microsoft is definitely going forward. As the Xbox One X comes out, I'm quite sure the Xbox One S will be dropped as well. So the new Final Fantasy fighting games beta is super laggy. If you guys didn't know, there's a new Final Fantasy fighting game that's slotted to release next year on the PlayStation 4. It's early next year. It looks pretty cool, but if you check out the article, you can see that it is beyond super laggy. That's all I'm going to talk about here. There's not much else to say. If you want to read over the article yourself, you can, but it's so laggy right now that I wouldn't even consider playing it. Hopefully they fix this by the time it releases. So Nintendo is officially killing off Miiverse in Japan, which means that it will come to the Americas as well. That's a real shame. November 8th, 2017, 3 p.m. Japanese time, the Miiverse will be removed in Japan. I don't know when this is going to apparently happen here in America or in the West or in other countries, but that's what it says for Japan. Now that's a real sad thing to talk about, detail, and discuss, because there's a lot of cool Miiverse posts on the Wii U. Despite you might not liking the Wii U, it's still a really big key feature of the Wii U and a key feature of Nintendo itself. Everyone's going to miss the Miiverse because it was a pretty cool thing to have, and I know I'll miss it. So make sure to log on one last time before the service is killed entirely. So a controller mod has forced a controversial rematch during a Smash. I literally just got called from a potential fraud agency. That's what my phone says. Risk level high. Oh, man. What is life? So apparently a controller mod has forced a controversial rematch during a Smash Melee match. Now the controller itself is not the problem, but it is the problem. It's the universal controller fix. And during the match between these individuals, the universal controller fix was not on. Now once it was turned back on, the match went in favor of the other person. So one person won originally, and then the rematch happened and the other person won. Now this universal controller fix fixes a few things within the game due to the simple fact of the aging GameCube controller, which leads me to talk about the aforementioned, it is the controller, but it's not. So with this fix, it fixes the problems, the issues, and makes pretty much a level playing field. So there's an article on Kotaku. With Destiny 2 coming, Destiny YouTubers fear losing money to YouTube's ad bots. And this article is detailing and discussing how the Adpocalypse has come along and how it's removing ads ads and giving bad ads to people who don't have family-friendly content. YouTube is moving in the direction of children. So what they were talking about here is how if you put in guns in the thumbnail, swords, stuff like that, a lot of time you will get demonetized or you will get bad ads. Now, all I have to say is, I'm sorry. If you didn't rise up and rebel against the YouTube Adpocalypse when it was happening, and you just sat there quietly because it wasn't affecting you, guess what? They came for you this time. Stop saying, oh, it doesn't affect me. Stop using the stupid excuse of, oh, get a real job. Stop using get a real job as an excuse for why YouTube can sit here and remove ads or give terrible ads to people. If you don't want to see your favorite content creators leave, and you don't want to see them sell out and start promoting stuff that they don't believe in, then stop giving them crap and telling them to get a real job when they just want to make money off of making videos to entertain you. And finally, I want to close out with some event Pokemon news. Marshadow's event has been detailed. It probably was detailed quite some time ago, but I want to give you an update here. You can get this event at your local GameStops, and that is going to be on October 9th to October 23rd, and that is, of course, this year. Check the link if you're interested in knowing how to get these Pokemon. So that's it for what you missed. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know by leaving me a like. Are you guys interested in the new Marshadow event? Do you guys think the Miiverse being killed off is a terrible thing? I want to hear from you. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for watching.